Oh, my camera's not working on this page. Great. Hello, everybody. I'm a black screen. I forgot to fix this pregame page. That's okay, though. I'm Jaso the DM. Welcome to this beautiful Friday night, this pre-Christmas week. Welcome to Wyrd and Wyld, session 72. Where have the scales gone? I am Jaso the DM. You're gonna notice a little bit of some picture switches around. We've got some people who are missing. We've got some people who are going to be having to jump out, and some people who are going to have to join. So names may be flipped around. But anyways, who's joining me at least right now on this beautiful Friday night?
I guess I'm first. My name's Kevin. I play Sun Kong, your apeling bionoid monk following the way of the abundant spirit.
Who else?
Dreamcast.
Oh, that's right. There's no Luke, so I'm not Luke and I'm not Bailey because they're not here. But I'm Slim or Brian or husband or whoever you want to call me. I'll be playing Rinkaz, a lizard folk fighter of the martial archetype of the gunslinger, also an urban bounty hunter. Very important. And I'm totally not drunk, I promise. In game.
Personally, however. So, Kyle playing Fa and Kemo. They know each other, but they don't know how, and they don't know why.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nick. I play in VD, a half-elf celestial warlock, Pack the Tome archetype, and I have the most phenomenal familiar of all time, a pseudo-dragon named Jira.
Thank you, everybody. Bailey, who typically plays Glace Allure, is going to be out this session. And Luke, who plays Aesop, is going to be out at least for about an hour. But he should be dropping in. So in the meantime, excuse the people being under the different, wrong areas, positions in the layout. But that's okay. We'll get it squared away later. But yes, welcome everybody. Thank you everybody who's popped in to watch us. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I want to throw a quick shout out to League of Explorers as well as you, Slim. Thank you for the donation of the bits from last week. That was nice of you. Speaking of weird bits, all of you who are watching and checking us out, you are building up Weird Bits, which is our loyalty point system. And you can do cool stuff with those as you accrue them, like buy cool avatars to use in the Godly Tavern that you see below. We have a little bit of an updated layout, which I think looks a little nicer than the other ones, making slow changes. You can do cool stuff like buy inspiration for party members, buy them Weird Bit packages that they can use to exchange for gold, or buy cool stuff for their ship, like new rooms that give them other benefits and bonuses. All kinds of cool stuff. So check that out. The details are down below on our Twitch page. As I've been mentioning the past couple weeks, this week and next week is, specifically next week, your last chance to use any of the Streamlabs loyalty points. After that, because Twitch has enacted their own Twitch channel points, we're going to be moving away from Streamlab points just because I prefer to have a built-in system that's all in one place. So I have both active now, so you guys are both accruing Streamlab and Twitch channel points. So I would mostly pay attention to the Twitch channel points, and you can find out the details and the cool stuff you can buy in the chat at the bottom left, where it has the picture of the tiny little glob that is a representation of our weird bit. So check that out. After next week, we will exclusively be using a Twitch channel point. So if any of you are joining and have points that are used in Streamlabs that you've accrued that you want to use, make sure and use them either this stream or by next stream. Otherwise, we'll be shifting. Thank you for rating us, Husband and Wife Stream. Go check them out too. Husband and Wife Stream. They just beat Pokemon, and Slim, who plays Rinkaz, does a whole bunch of fun stuff as husband along with his wife. And they're just doing some cool wonder trades or surprise trades in this one. And I was also looking at his shiny Obstagoon, which is pretty cool. But yes, go check them out. They do a variety of different stuff, as well as cross-stitching, which is pretty cool from his wife. But yes, thank you everybody for stopping by as usual. And let's see here. We're going to do a giveaway because at the end of the month, we always try to do one of those. last couple ones haven't been successful. I think this time, because we're sort of in the Christmas season especially, I'm going to probably make it particularly easy to probably win. So just keep an eye out for those details next week. I'll announce that during stream. $10 digital gift card for either the DM's Guild or Steam. So just listen in and find out how you can win next week. So that is most of my housekeeping junk out of the way. So why don't I go ahead and hand out some inspiration in the meantime.
Inspiration.
Those of you, I think it's just NVD who needs to grab one this time.
Seems to be.
Oh, okay. I got a really powerful card.
This is your guys' time as usual to trade now or forever hold on to your card until you use it.
I'm gonna stay.
All right.
I think I'm gonna keep
I'm gonna switch mine. If that's okay.
Sure. If anybody else wants it, it's in the mission control room.
Again. What do I have?
No, that's garbage.
I'll trade it, but I kind of want to be a glory hog with my card.
No.
Glory
Hold your card.
I'll
use this for advantage.
card for me. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep mine. Mine gives me extra AC, which can be helpful.
Yeah, definitely can. We already went over the rules tweak from last week. Instead of getting an injury at 0 HP, you now gain 1 for every failed death saving throw. And with that, why don't we roll some die? Who gave the recap last week?
I believe it was Slim.
Yes, that's true. Slim, you are immune from rolling unless you want to, but if you roll low, you have to. So otherwise, Sun Kong and VD Kemo. Let's see what you get.
Oh, it's double digits. Sorry, VD. That's fitting though.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff happening with the
True.
VD. So
I
Nick,
think that's fitting, yeah.
what happened last time on Wyrd and Wyld?
So last time on Weird, are these in character now? I'm sorry.
You don't have to if you don't
If you want to.
If you want to, that's awesome. If not, don't worry about it.
Okay, since I'm completely insane at the moment, I have to give it as Mean Gene. Mean Gene here with your wild knots on your update. Am I too loud? I really don't know because I can't hear myself talk. Anyway, so we're back on the ship and it's completely crazy. There's this big talking skull thing in the hangar. They started talking about some mumbo jumbo about how the universe is all connected, but certain parts of it are wiped out. But this is a recollection of what actually happened, which is completely insane. Kind of got me thinking, well, what kind of stuff am I involved in or don't remember? Because I joined up with these crazy guys way after when we were supposed to meet up. Crazy stuff. So anyway, our techno mage Fa kind of did an experiment on me, and I'm actually some sort of conduit for some warlock patrony dragon thing that I've been trying to make contact with. Unfortunately, when I tried to do that, I literally went insane. And that's why I'm talking like Mean Gene, because right now I'm having a break with reality. Other than that, I believe our friends are going to come back, hopefully safe from their trip, try to bring Elysia back to where she came from, because she was nice enough to come visit our ship. And everybody else just completely went crazy, because what speaks more to self-care than just completely obliterating yourself with adult beverages as soon as you get 5 minutes of downtime? Does that make any sense? Is this thing on? Are we recording? Let's go live!
Yeah, what a lesson about self-care and what not to do is to just have everyone either go insane, get completely blasted in the face and play around with incredibly potentially harmful magic items, or just completely blaze it up. NVIDIA, you went nuts. However, with Glacé's help, you took quite a large puff from the Ghost Ganga plant, a arcane infused herb that quickly knocked you out from such a large intake that you breathed in there. So you fell unconscious. For some reason, you're going to find one weird bit in your pockets when you wake up. Thank you for the recap.
Hey! My goggles are geeked!
Sun Kong, thank you for the recap. Sun Kong, Kemo, you guys returned after escorting Elysia back to the observatory, having did a little bit of stealth work just to not get tangled up with the guards who were what looked like doing some cleanup work from the incident you guys reported about being attacked by that group earlier, the Centillium. As you guys came back, you realized that everyone had basically gone nuts, and unless there's anything specific that you guys want to do, I was going to just kind of cut to the chase and say that since you all, after getting back on the ship, had planned to rest anyway, that you, Sun Kong, and Kemo, seeing that everyone else had pretty much passed out through various means, would decide to go ahead and take a long rest yourselves. So unless there's anything you want to do before that, we'll just say that everyone takes a rest. What do you guys think?
It's time to rest.
I'm okay with the rest.
All right. So Kemo, you, Sun Kong, and Rinkaz, you took a couple of drinks, but you're no stranger to hitting the alcohol here and there on occasion. So you didn't really a mild buzz, if anything, and had a brief stint with a conversation with some of the other crew members in the lounge / tavern area of the ship. So you all bed down in various ways to rest. You can go ahead and heal yourselves up. Bring up your healths for anybody that you need to. Restore your inspiration bar if you want.
What hit die do you use to heal with when you multi-class?
You get an
You choose.
Yeah.
Luke!
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Oh, you're here!
Hey!
Oh, I just got here just in the nick of time.
I literally was like, I was like, man, that voice, the ghost of Luke is great. I wish he was
Right?
just... I don't know how he recorded this and played it at the exact moment that Kevin asked.
Look, I have an encyclopedic recording of all rules questions.
Well, please, send that over. Dropbox me.
It's like your bad signal somewhere. There's a rule that is unanswered.
It's actually a plugin for the D&D Beyond subscription that we have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can only
You could click
do
it.
those- I can only do those explanations, and then this explanation to explain the explanations.
It's actually an add-on also for if you have an Amazon Alexa, you just go, hey, Aesop, and
Hey,
ask it
Aesop.
any D&D rule, and it will answer you.
Yes, creature!
And it's all powered by D&D Beyond.
So, as previously mentioned in last session, you guys, at the very outset of the entire campaign, had a blueprint for your individual rooms. And while typically blueprints can't just easily be expanded on as some other created, like magically infused rooms or chests that can typically be built, Ketz, with the help of being created by Kaz, was at least able to fabricate 2 more rooms, considering that the main party of the Wyld Tycoons was growing larger. So Fa, Kemo, you guys have your own rooms. Fa, as you begin to stir, you wake up in your bed. You can go ahead and heal yourself. You wake up in your bed. Your memory of what happened, I don't want to say last night, because you're not even sure if night exists here on Jadra because of the just sheer amount of pure light that bleeds in this area. You actually remember as you stepped out into the Jadra capital and walked around outside, you didn't even notice like a sun. It just seemed like a light permeated this entire area. So as you took a long rest after a hazy pre-8 hours ago, you find yourself waking up in your bed. You feel as your senses are coming to you that you have a bit of a stinging sensation on your face. And as you shift around, sort of pulling the covers out from over top of you on your bed here, you hear the click-clacking sound of as you peer down what looks to be some stray ball bearings that were under the sheets kind of strewn about that bounce on the floor as you pull yourself up. You do have a mirror in your room that's like across the way over at this desk, and as you're rubbing your eyes and look up to peer in it, you see that it's not incredibly noticeable, but you can tell that your face looks slightly a bit red and speckled, as if you were laying on maybe these ball bearings. It's a little difficult to tell, but you stir and wake.
Looks like I had fun last night.
You definitely have a sensation of a bit of a hangover. There's no actual technical effects for your character, but you can tell you must have partied pretty hard.
Makes a lot of sense.
Sun Kong, you stir, waking up. You didn't imbibe any alcohol or anything like that, so you wake up well rested, feeling good. As you are pulling yourself to consciousness, pulling the covers out from under you, you see over in the corner Sugar, crouched down and laying down and like a curled up nature, tail slowly wagging back and forth a bit. Looks like she's sleeping. You notice Ukog seems to be sitting cross-legged in the chair over at the desk across your room. She seems to be in this position in sort of like a meditating manner.
Oh. It's good to be back on the ship. Oh.
Good morning, Ukog says.
Oh, morning. Oh, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Sun Kong. I wanted to tell you something. I know that over these past couple weeks, as you've been getting more and more used to your bionoid form, that you and I especially have been pushing you in our training sessions, albeit mentally and within the Munkin zone, but it still counts in terms of gaining experience. I know I've been pushing you hard, but I just want you to know that it's all for a reason.
I appreciate it, definitely. I mean, anything if I feel more at one with Roshi feels like the right move.
Good. Perhaps with enough training I could be able to speak to the bionoid that resides within me as well.
It'd be excellent to see you be able to take that form again and not have it hurt you.
That would be nice, she says. If you don't mind, I'm gonna continue to focus here for a little while.
Absolutely.
She closes her eyes again and resumes her meditative stance, just kind of sitting in the chair here. Kemo, as you wake up, you similarly didn't really drink or anything like that, so you wake up pretty well rested. It still feels weird waking up in this new form, this much larger physical body. You notice as your consciousness comes to you that your immediate sight is your two big feet sticking out at the end of the beds, not covered by any of the sheets. And you grab with a very thick-fisted palm against the sheets and pull them out from under you. It's getting a little easier, but you still feel like it'll take some time getting used to this new form.
I feel like there's a good chance he almost knocks himself out just trying to pull the sheets off.
Aesop, you, similarly to Fa, wake up with a bit of a headache. No actual character impediments, but you definitely feel like you maybe had too much to drink the previous night.
I've been poisoned.
One
do that to myself.
of the last sporadic memories you have is going into the bathroom
Yeah.
and trying to do your best to wash your face. you now find yourself in the bed. You're unsure whether you were able to pull yourself in it, or perhaps maybe you had help from Hush or someone. You're unsure, but at least you made it back here. And there is a bit of a headache from the hangover, but it at least doesn't look like you got into too much trouble here in your room.
This is embarrassing.
In VD, you shift around multiple times in your bed before fully waking. You notice as you come to consciousness that the covers in your bed here are twisted. As you peer around, your vision going from a blurry to focusing in now as you blink a couple times and scratch your eyes, you notice that your tome of the roar of the arboreal dragon is what looks like face down, open, almost as if it was tossed or strewn over on the other side of the room. You notice Jira is sleeping next to it. You also pick up as you're waking up and breathe in deep and feel your lungs that there is like a subtle earthy plant smell in the air. You're not sure what happened last night. You remember going to contact your god, and you feel unsure if you got the answers you needed. You get the sense that things didn't go the way that you wanted. They're the exact details of it you're unsure.
Fascinating.
Some sneaking suspicion.
Why is there shit all over all of us?
Yeah.
Where did this crayon come from?
It's bitten into. Glace similarly wakes up in her room, feeling pretty well rested and feeling as though at some point during the night she may have had some type of out-of-body experience.
Man.
So, as you guys remember, Sun Kong, Kemo, after escorting Elysia back to the observatory, that she mentioned for you guys after you spent some time to take a rest after that engagement with the Centillium, for you guys to rest up, heal up, and when you so chose, because she would have free time the following day to head back to the observatory to meet with her, she wanted to, similarly to last season, invite you all into the top level of the observatory and test your heartbeats in terms of looking within you, maybe even tapping into your souls to see how it connects to the rest of the Twixt plane. She seems to harbor, as an illuminator and head of the Astronomy Guild, some type of arcane essence that she can sense about people as well as the cosmos itself. So she not only wanted to do that again, but she also wanted to offer her astral wares to you guys should you want to purchase anything special at her shop. She offers some special items that can't be found too many other places. So you guys, you knew that you had that next to do, but in the meantime, you have all stirred from your slumbers and the ball is in your court. It is quiet on the ship, as it typically is when you wake, and each of you can go about your business. So what do you guys do?
Hello? Is everyone alive? What happens?
Yeah.
Are you all doing all right? It seems like you guys had quite some downtime while I was off the ship.
I'm not even sure why. Why did we do this?
Well, you thought it would be a good idea to follow me to the bar and have like a drink or two to kind of unwind, and well, things got a little out of hand, and me and Glace went to go check on Vidi, but that's another story, while a few other people were fighting in the Ghost Ganga, but that's another story, while you decided to make your own Ghost Ganga by torching the alchemy plant.
What?
I mean, it's kind of still there. From what I gather with a investigation of the area, you tried to put platinum and the brand of magic stick you have together, and either fire or energy. It sounded like lightning shot and made Ghost Genga out of the plant itself.
I despise that wand.
Or
Nothing but headache.
what I think really happened was, I think Fa got drunk, gave you a copper, and then you tried to light the wand on fire and smoke the plant. That's what I think really happened.
Please. They both
If you wanted
sound
that.
ridiculous, and it's easier to blame you, Rinkaz, because this was your idea. This party thing. I should have never listened to you or Triple D. I'm never drinking again.
I take full responsibility, and I don't have to drink with you. I found a new drinking buddy. I hope Hush is doing well this morning.
Rinkaz, Sun Kong, Kemo, those of you who are sober, you guys would remember before settling down for the night that Hush, Inoki, and Kriv, Kriv being commanded by the other two to drag Aesop and Fa to their beds and make sure that they are relatively put in there so that they can rest. And the last thing you guys remember for settling down was Hush and Inoki went to go check on the alchemy plant, see what they can do, and they had Kriv in there to help clean up the spread of ball bearings that were just laced across the entrance.
The fucking scorch marks from the lightning bolt on the wall.
Yeah.
Gonna need every one of those 1,000 ball bearings back.
I immediately want to go assess the damage on the plant. And then, similar to a blackout drunk retracing his steps, it all gradually begins coming back to me. I'm guessing. Oh no! So I'm gonna walk in and see what's what.
Hush, as you step into the alchemy crafting area, you notice Inoki, the myconoid, sort of assessing the plant. You notice the alchemy plant, probably a good 20, maybe 25% of it down towards the lower right side, including a little bit of the stem, just has this, just almost like a pure area missing. And you can definitely tell that the edges are singed with what look like some type of fire, or it got hit by something. Inoki turns to see you, and across the room, sitting in your chair at your desk, Hush turns around.
I don't make eye contact with Hush. I don't think Hey, Inoki, I really mucked this one up.
Oh, hey, good morning. Yeah, we were looking into this. This was you, huh?
I could make excuses, but yes, it was.
After we got you guys thrown back into your rooms, me and Hush started looking at the plant. I did what I could, but it looks like the plant is not completely dead. But yeah, whatever you guys did in here certainly mucked it up a little bit. So I don't know if there's anything you have in terms of tools that you could maybe try to kind of help it out, but that would be probably for the better.
I could take a look. It's actually literally the least I could do to try to reverse this. I have proficiency in herbalism, Jason.
All right. Yeah, Inoki he would gather, since your time on the ship, that you probably have some expertise in this. So you do notice what looks to be some type of greenish residue or powder has been caked, at least to the sides that were particularly burnt, as if to sort of be some sort of like short form medicine for the plant, at least to assuage the scorch marks, the areas that really got hit hard. But it does look like you could maybe do some type of herbology check or something to see what you can do for it.
Oh, honey, you gotta make sure you get this done. What's her dark bard spell? Is it D8?
Bardic inspiration. She's full bard, so.
Oh, D10.
Oh, sick. You know what, Jason? I'm gonna spend my inspiration that I don't have a card for, but it doesn't matter.
Oh,
I'm spinning it right now.
Okay,
so
okay,
it's
that's
fine.
fine. You hear Glosse behind you. Thank you, Kyle. And get a little inspiration for that. I mean, this is your guys' moneymaker, so...
Yeah, Aesop feels really bad that he did this, and is probably going to swear off drinking for a little while. So wow, okay. You know what? We're just gonna go ahead and add the D10 to it, because why the fuck not?
Oh shit.
That's a 36 herbalism.
All right. Just almost doing like from one extreme to the other, extremely plastered the previous night, but now almost because of the actions that they incurred, you're now just completely focused in your work. You run over to Hush, but not even too much paying attention, just going into your drawer. She, as you are looking up grabbing tools, gives you a quick nod, and you guys almost act as if nothing has happened the previous night, maybe for the better.
We will never speak of this.
And as you're gathering the exact supplies you need, she kind of hands you one of the last things that you'll need, and you kind of run over to the plant. And in what way you're gonna, whatever way you do this, you'll do expertly, but in what way would you attempt to service this plant?
I think I would probably cut off, like take like a really fine instrument and like kind of scrape off the burnt bark and apply some sort of like fertilizer to it that would promote like it growing back, basically. Like bark and leaves that were scorched, I remove and try to like make it so they're nice and like open to fresh air and can heal.
Okay. You, as you do this, you also remember that as you are pretty precisely cutting the dead areas of the plant matter off of the alchemy plant, that as you near the actual living matter of the plant, you do notice that rising from the stem up to the leaves in almost like a just split second is almost the same texture of rock that surrounds the base where the plant is planted into.
Yeah.
You do remember that the plant does have natural defenses. If you were to, as you remember back because of your good check on Viveria, that you were told that if you were to swing a sword at this plant, it would be able to react in time to basically turn itself into stone, so it couldn't be struck. However, whatever magic was cast last night was probably so instantaneous and unexpected by the plant, because it's not incredibly intelligent, that it didn't foresee the damage that would be dealt.
It
so
trusted me and I failed.
So almost with the plant's help, you're able to cauterize whatever dead parts are on it.
I just am whispering to the fucking plant, sorry.
And mixing up a particularly potent amount of fertilizer, you're able to ground it into the base area where the rock work, and just even kind of smear a little bit of it on the parts of the plant that were cauterized to attempt to fix it up. With that strong check, you feel like within right now trying to do any sort of like transmutation using the plant, it will probably be difficult to do. But if you give it a couple days, you feel like checking in on it, it will get back to where it was.
Oh, good. Guilt only slightly alleviated, but at least the plant is going to be okay.
I don't know that you made it feel better. It smells like shit.
Well, I mean, the lightning bolt burnt a lot of stuff in the room, and it was a long night, okay? It was Rinkaz's idea. You should talk to Rinkaz.
Oh, honey.
Also, we should get that Triple D guy off of our ship. Every time we involve Triple D in anything, I end up blacked out on the floor, and I'm not a fan of that.
I don't know how I feel about that. I will continue that.
Oh my God.
As you finish up there, did Slim have to drop out? Did he disappear?
He had a brownout at home, so he's waiting for his router to reset.
Oh, okay. All right. So yes, Aesop, you spent a little time assessing the plant and healing it up. You feel like you did a pretty damn good job, with no one else's help needed. Sun Kong, Fa / Kemo, and Vidi, Are you guys doing anything in particular? NVIDIA, as you are getting dressed and throwing on some clothes, Jira gives a big yawn and greets you and sort of looks at you and jumps behind your tome that's laid flat on the floor, open, cover kind of laid flat down. It nudges the book towards you as if to pick it up, and then almost happily wags its tail back and forth. You hear some chatter coming out from behind, or rather in front of, outside of your door, the steel door here, and it sounds like Sun Kong, Fa, Kemo, and maybe that Mogdramon fellow having a conversation outside.
Well, I was going to actually check on NVD, because I
Okay.
did hear about what happened when I got back.
So yeah, you come over, you see Mogdramon standing at attention. He greets you, "Good morning," and steps aside, allowing you to step in.
Anything happened during the night?
It seems as though he stayed sleeping.
Excellent. I'll knock, or buzz, or whatever.
Come in. Hi.
You step up to the door of Sun Kong and it activates, shifting to the side opening.
Oh, hey. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Here, you had an interesting night.
Yeah, interesting. Disappointing, really. I don't think it worked. I don't remember anything, so I'm gonna assume I didn't do it right this time.
Are you okay?
Jiris, well, I think so. I just remember being really scared. Jira seems to be okay, so I think everything's good.
Do we see his book laying around?
Yeah, you do notice now that Jira is kind of over to the side, somewhat in the middle of the room, nudging the book towards him. You see that it's open and laying flat down on the ground.
I'll magic hand it to NVD. Do you think it's... Buddy, does this happen a lot?
A lot? No, I've only done this once before, and it worked out a lot different last time. So I'm gonna assume that I was right to say just leave me locked in here just in case it doesn't work, because I genuinely don't know what happened.
Well, it sounded like you kind of, you had went a little, I don't know, a little off the rails from what everyone said.
Well, as long as nobody got hurt, then I guess it's okay. I'll try again another time we have some downtime, just in case I don't complete that ritual correctly.
No worries, yeah, try again.
I mean,
We're here for you.
the worst was, I mean, you got to be Mean Gene for a bit, so at least you're not totally dangerous.
Oh, well, that either means we were having a party or I panicked. So, I hope it was just a party.
I don't know.
Some people partied, it sounds like also.
I
Yeah,
couldn't think of a
Aesop
crude way to say that, so I didn't.
Welcome to my room, by the way.
Especially.
Oh, wow, I like your poster.
Thank you. You guys don't have to stand in the doorway. You can actually come in here.
Fall starts looking through your shit. So, while she's actually looking through stuff, so is there anything in the book? Did anything show up, or are you just no go as a no go?
Let me look here. Can I kind of flip it open to the last page I was scribing in and just kind of quickly study, see if anything looks different?
You quickly flip back to the last page, and it seems as though before you were able to write down your questions in your tome that you were wanting to ask your patron, that it seems like something bad happened. You remember seeing something bright, and then things just went off the rails from there. I started getting real hazy. As you are flipping back to that page, though, this text that we've talked about before, there is writing in it that seems to be a mix of like Draconic and maybe another language, but it seems, and I'm pretty sure you can speak Draconic, or at the very least you have your helm, which is your hood. But this just seems like it's in Draconic, but it's like old Draconic. And maybe common too mixed in there a little bit, but seems very old. So it's you can kind of understand a language, but previously it was very difficult to pick up. You pretty much couldn't make heads or tails of it. Now it seems like you can actually pick up some of the words that you didn't before as you were just flipping to the back.
I'm gonna make a plea for a rule of cool on this.
What do you want to do?
So, one of the feats that I took was linguist, which gives me a bunch of extra languages, lets me like make up a cipher. And a couple of the languages that I know are Draconic and Common. Is there anything that I can make out of it?
If you both want, both of you give me give me like an investigation check.
Okay.
Or I'll also take a history check.
Ooh, I'll take that history check.
Or I'll take a religion check.
Alright, I'll throw in on a religion.
Or athletics.
My favorite
I got
check.
that.
Sun Kong grabs a book, turns it upside down. I understand now.
Starts juggling it.
It all makes sense.
I understand. E equals MC squared.
So I'll kind of looking over the page, and then a 21 on religion. And I'll kind of just 21.
21 on religion, and that's a 20 for Fa.
History, yeah.
All right.
I'll kind of like look at it and then kind of like highlight with my finger and then like turn my shoulder to Fa. This is new.
As you both peer through the text, it's still very difficult to make out. However, with both of you combined, you're able to pick up pieces as you kind of just flip back and just, Occam's razor start from the beginning. As you peer through the text, it seems to be almost written in a journal-like manner. And it's written in what seems like first-person form. And some of the first entries, as you guys kind of point your fingers at different words and either through your checks of religion or history try to make an attempt to translate it from what you can remember to make it make sense. It seems as though this individual is talking about how they want to keep a log of things that happen in their life because they don't want to forget it. As you guys flip through another page or two, you pick up a few more keywords that provide you with a bit more insight. You are able to glean that this individual is very special and cannot leave the place that they're currently in. And so as a way to pass the time and as a way to remember, they have started these journal entries. One of the last things you guys are able to glean before it just gets almost more nuanced and a little too difficult to make out is the reason that they're mentioning that they are keeping this journal with these entries in it is because they have and will live a very long time.
That's pretty cool. Where'd you get this book in, BD?
Well, I got it. I guess you could say the final exam at Ravis Eterna. They asked me to grab it from a dungeon simulation. It's like a frost cave. I was there with Hush and some other people, and that's why that other group wants it. They wanted it too, but the school wanted it. Everybody wants this book for some reason, but I have it.
You remember in VD that this ice cave, this cavernous descent that exists underneath the academy, as far as they told you, seems to stretch on for what could be miles, and it continues to grow over time. And as they mentioned, this pocket of this arcane energy that stretches through this cavern, from what they told you, not only holds various magic items and stuff that was kept as almost like in a museum-like nature by they themselves, but the latent energies within, from what they told you, this area makes a copy of every book that exists, or will exist.
Holy shit.
But the difficulty is traversing the dangers of the cavern and finding the things that you're looking for.
Right. That's why some people succeed and some people have to escape.
I'm confused. Does that mean there's another one of these books out there? If this is a copy of a book.
It might, but it also
kinda
might be a copy, or it might not exist yet. We really don't know at this point.
Huh. And so, have they had something like this book be found before? Do you know?
Yeah, why'd they send you to get this book? Seems pretty powerful for a final team.
Or did they just send you down there and you find whatever you find? Or did they tell you you have to find this book?
I just have
Well,
red paper.
From what I remember, everybody is sent in looking for something specific to them, just kind of related to their studies. I don't necessarily know why I was supposed to get this one, other than just my research, but it's hard to say. I would assume that other people found other arcane focuses, tomes, encyclopedias, things of that nature. I wouldn't assume that there's only one of those that people need down there, but this one specifically, I had never heard of it.
And what were your studies again?
You probably know them just as well as I do. I didn't really do that good in school. General magic practices,
Liberal
beastie-
magic.
Yeah.
Liberal.
Liberal performance magic, bestiary knowledge, reagent crafting,
Learned a decent amount about gods.
yes, deities and rituals of various civilizations, just the basic calligraphy, the stuff that they send you to wizard school for. I didn't do so good in wizard school.
Say I don't worship a god. I fire a gun. I hunt people, not animals, and that's probably the exact opposite of everything I know. So as far as I go, you're an expert, my friend.
Oh,
So
yeah, and I learned about plants too.
It sounds though like So you kind of describe it as they send you down there for something that kind of speaks to you. Is it normal that the people who pass, they then try to take these items from you all? Because I mean, if it's you go down there and it sounds like it's kind of meant for you. If I'm understanding correctly.
Right. Yeah, so it's supposed to be some sort of coronation, if you will, but I never went back to turn it in or verify that I had it, so I not really sure what they would do with it finally, other than I guess gift it to me. The Centillium, though, that was what they had asked me to get it and turn it in as sort of an initiation or right to join, and I didn't really have anything or want a desire to do anything with them, so you saw they will take it any way that they can get it.
They're kind of dicks. So the Centillium, how does that fit with the school?
They're more like a I guess you could say like a different kind of version of the Helper's Hand, where they look for people with skills that are beneficial to their collective and try to find eager, talented people who need something to do after they get out of school.
Fuck takes a step back. Oh, you're recruited by these people?
Recruited, maybe invited. They kind of just look for anybody, I guess, that could show some sort of promise, but I don't really know what they do with all the stuff they get. I really haven't ever heard anything good or bad, but it just didn't seem right that they always want things that belong to the school.
But they didn't have anything to do with the school.
That's weird, yeah.
It is weird. Something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Well, I feel stronger now that we made the right decision yesterday to keep the book from those guys.
Yeah, and the guy in the shiny armor also had a note that they've been looking for me, or their mission was to find me. So I have a good feeling that we're gonna unfortunately see those people again.
Well, we'll be with you when that happens.
Not those specific people. They're not born. Nobody's gonna see them.
Well, yeah, not those guys.
Yeah, I need to figure out why it's so important to have this tome that they're literally willing to fight unprepared to get it, because you guys are really, really strong, and I'm starting to get there too, I guess you could say. I started actually getting a lot more angry and burning things a lot more. I just don't like seeing you guys get hurt.
Hey, we would have been in a lot more trouble last time if you weren't there, so don't count yourself out.
Peace up.
Everything all right in here?
Pierce at the door.
I did what I could to fix my mess.
Oh, you made a mess?
You
They
could
kept burning
say that.
We had a fun night too.
You fixed it, so it's okay.
Yeah, right. Is everything all right here as well?
All right's a good way to describe it. We're just kind of talking.
Good.
I couldn't contact the author this time, and I guess it makes me a little out of sorts.
I see. Well, there's that lady in the observatory. She said she could help. Well, I mean, some of you have actually done this before. I've never done it before. What exactly happens in the observatory, Sun Kong? She said she could see our hearts? Like The heartbeat?
It's not a literal thing, from what I
Well,
remember.
I gather it's not a literal thing, but
Because, I mean, technically, you can see my heart.
yes, I could right now if I wanted to. In fact, I guess we're all a little out of sorts. Maybe a trip to this observatory place will be just what the doctor ordered, so to speak.
Yeah, it might be a bit safer to head back now. Gave it a couple hours since that little scuffle. Yeah, maybe we should. I mean, if everyone's feeling up to it, I mean, we're not going anywhere necessarily. We could wait if we needed to.
I think it'll be a good thing to do before we, hit the road again to help Hush out.
Sounds like a plan then.
Oh, not
What's,
Hush. Kui. What the fuck am I
Kui.
saying, Hush?
Oh yeah. Well, Hush might know a little bit more about the final exam, because she passed. So,
Oh,
I mean, I assume she passed because, fortunately or
Wait.
unfortunately, they all made it out, and well, the tome kind of saved me.
Does that mean she got some sort of special magic item also?
I suppose it's... Jason, has she ever mentioned anything like that to me?
She would, between your guys' conversation, she would have probably mentioned that she, along with NVD and a group of others, were collectively, because it's too dangerous to go in solo, so you're paired in groups, and you go down into this cavern, and you're given a list of items to find. One of them, obviously, being the book that NVD eventually found. She mentioned, or go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna go and pull it up on what she needed to find, but if you know it, sorry for cutting you off.
If you want to pull it up, yeah, you can.
Specifically, I'll pull it up, but I believe she was tasked to find. It was either like lichen or moss or something for alchemy.
A reagent, sure.
Yeah.
Yes. This seems to make sense. It's not something I'm sure she would have any need to take with her. I'm
Right.
getting the
Makes more sense.
impression that they don't often take.
She mentioned that they were sent down. Some of the items more mundane in nature, others, specifically any written work, was of a better, more rare quality, because they could be these copied tomes that could have certain information in them. They could be magic items. Either way, she mentioned to you, Aesop, that once those materials were gathered, besides NVD disappearing and taking his item with him, that they returned all of theirs, that they were requested, and they returned them in, and then they were given their diplomas for graduating college.
Right. Makes sense.
You get the sense, though, that none of the things that they turned in were probably as particularly magic as the tome that NVD has, though, either.
Definitely
So-
doesn't sound like it. Lichen and a tome from this author person, not exactly comparable.
So from what I remember, I really think it was myself and Hush, and we had our things. We had some like an illusionist or a summoner, and he needed to find a arcane focus, and then we had a pyromancer that needed to find a staff of some sort, and I believe the pyromancer was the only one that wanted to help the Centillium out by finding some sort of crystals to help them craft a new sort of, I guess, mage weave cloak.
The Centillion offer all of you jobs, she says with air.
Yeah, from what I understand, they did, but I think the other guy was the only real one that was interested.
It's like a placement program. It's nice of them.
The fuck is this school?
It's very different than the monastery, that's for sure.
Well, it sounds like a place where you can learn things that you wouldn't be able to elsewhere, that's for sure.
For who? Learn them so that who can use their power or knowledge or ability? What is
Oh,
I don't know. It seemed perfectly fine in the pamphlet I read.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no harm in learning like alchemy if your family is alchemists.
Yeah, there's
Triple-
no harm in it.
Triple D's an alchemist.
Oh,
I could learn from him.
He
that's
definitely.
that's absolutely ridiculous. That's like saying a butcher is a surgeon.
Well, he definitely brews up some potions.
He definitely puts things in liquid form. Yes, he does.
I mean, I could make things into liquid form. I'm working on some new guns, actually.
Big Devil kind of makes things into liquid form.
This is a wildly unproductive conversation.
This is strayed so far from a scholastic conversation we were having just 2 seconds ago.
And my
So-
job
You're
is done.
welcome.
So this is interesting, though, NVD. Has the Ravis Eterna actually contacted you directly about returning the book, or just those gold people?
I don't think the school followed up with me. I think as far as everybody's concerned, I just kind of disappeared.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that means that the book is yours. If the school wanted it back, they would have contacted you. If they let you have it, that means you were meant to have it.
I also
that's
made it a point to not be contactable because I really didn't know what happened.
NVD, buddy, our faces are known to the entirety of the Twixt on a regular basis. They've probably seen you casting spells from the book. They have record of it. They would have, if they were against it, they would have made themselves known by now. And Aesop knocks on the wall.
Fop puts a hand on Invidi's shoulder. You can't run from your students, man.
Well, I guess when you put it that way, you're right. But I do try and hide it. I try not to show it. I keep it kind of on my waist. But I guess you could say, yeah, I would be recognizable at this point. I never really gave it a thought. I just kind of figured I was following you guys around.
They could have gotten in contact with you if they wanted to. But no, they sent those gold people after us out of nowhere.
Can't say that I'm a fan of a group of people that try to kill me.
Out of character, the Ravis Eterna didn't send the gold people, right? They
No.
came of their own volition, like because they want the book.
NVD would know that the Centillium, at least as far as you know, that is all of them that are stationed in the Ravis Eterna College, are more like a fraternity within it. So it could be that they themselves chose to try and hunt you down, and not specifically the college itself, at least as far as you know.
Were you rushing then? Was this some sort of hazing?
It would be yes if I probably followed through with it, but like I said, just something didn't seem right with them wanting materials and not really giving you an ends to a mean. And I didn't know why they wanted the specific thing that the school wanted when everybody else got 2 separate requests. So, just didn't seem right to do.
Huh. Works for me. I don't really understand it. So.
I don't either, but I'm here with you guys, so anything I can do to help, I'm just trying to figure out what this all means.
We're all trying to figure out what this all means.
Speaking of, whenever you're all ready to go to this observatory thing, I'll be waiting in the main room.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
If you guys are all ready, you each take the time to shower off, gather your gear, don your equipment, and if you will move your tokens over to mission control, are you guys using, or bringing rather, your companions with you? It's up to you.
I probably have to talk to Jashini at some point, so I will politely meet with her and explain that She's in danger of being killed and probably should turn back home.
You wake Jashini in the barracks. Inviti. Oh, hello.
Hi.
I haven't seen you in some time. Have you been avoiding me?
Not avoiding you. Trying to avoid being killed by various people. This is a lot of dangerous work.
Wyld Knot's life is no easy task, of course. I did go in that tomb with you, of course.
You did, and you saved me. So, forever grateful for that. Because I almost got crushed by a boulder or
As
something.
long as you remember that, MVD.
I do. I think about it every day, actually. So thank you. But I have to kind of reiterate and come clean that we had a run-in with some people down on the surface here, and they're not friendly, and they want things that I have. So they were pretty violent about it, and I don't want you becoming a victim of violence by staying with us. So, I mean, this planet's pretty peaceful. If you wanted to head into town and meet back up with the Helper's Hand, I completely understand.
So you're saying you want me to leave then?
Well, want you to leave is kind of I want you to be safe, not necessarily leave. And I don't know how much you like living on the ship at all times, but I just don't know how safe it's going to be to leave the ship going forward.
Make NVD a persuasion check at advantage.
Ooh. Is that my persuasion +9?
Wow, you got a really high fucking persuasion.
2.
18.
Jesus.
23?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, another 36? What
Nah.
the?
Wait, that doesn't add up. Oh, wait, it does add up.
That's the problem.
23. I won't do that again. That was a crummy way to do that.
It's fine.
She, without her like face accoutrements on or anything like that, it's kind of still in sleeping gear, kind of looks past you for a moment and looks back and says, Inviti, I've had a lot of fun with you. But I would be lying if I said that this ship is a place for me to stay long term. I come from an arid region on Relica that was bright, open, wild. Not closed in like this place. And to be honest, the dangers that you and your people run into are beyond something that I feel like a woman as myself could properly defend against. I really do like you. But, as you said, I think I may be better in a safer place. The money that you've given me, the platinum, it is enough to last me the rest of my life.
We're so rich.
I think my heart says no, but my brain agrees with you. It is smart for me to stay safe. I will miss you, but I will find other opportunities, and I can use the money you've given me to travel the stars.
I think when you are ready to leave this world, that I will part ways with you. When that time comes, come visit me, so that I can tell you goodbye myself.
Okay.
She ruffles her hand on your head and begins waking up to get ready.
I'll leave you be for a bit. Thank you.
You head into the mission control with everybody else. Some people move in certain directions and weird ways to get there.
I don't know how to move. I play super zoomed in because I can't see. So.
That's okay. That's okay. It helps with immersion too. Any companions you guys want to bring with you, you're welcome to. Fa, Kemo, if you want to bring either your owl or mechanical bat, you're welcome to do so. Those tokens are respectively in your rooms. You may have to punch in their HP and names again, but I got them ready for you.
Yeah.
Glace is going to gather with you. What were you saying, Ka?
They don't have hearts. Why would they come? That's silly.
That's actually a fair point. Glace, as usual, is going to bring Clatter. Okay. You guys know that you'll be returning to the ship, so you don't have to bring any companions. Otherwise, if you are all ready, as you gather in mission control, you actually don't see the Arcane Man, you don't see Kui or anybody else. You assume they're somewhere on the ship. They probably would have contacted you if they're in any type of trouble. But you guys gather on the ship, and if you are all ready, let me know.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like knock on the door. Tell Jashini we're ready.
As you do that, hang on just a second. Don't pay attention to any of this. There we go. As you do that, Jashini comes with you. Okay, is everyone ready? She says.
Let me grab Mogdramon with me.
Yeah. There's no place like where we go.
Back to the watchtower, lighthouse thing. To get our hearts looked at.
A totally natural thing to say.
Yeah, really.
I was gonna say, NVD, if they're hunting for you, I kind of made a living out of doing that sort of thing. I could maybe check while we're on the ground and see if I got any leads to see if there's anything else after us.
That might be good, and if we're really worried about it, hey, Fa, how hard is it to make me invisible again?
None hard. 0 hard. Not difficult at all.
Okay, all right.
I
was about to say.
Do you think that's a good idea? I mean, they might recognize you guys as traveling with me, but maybe if I'm not with you, they won't bother you. Is that something we should probably do in the future? Like, maybe I just need to be invisible.
We're not going to hide you wherever we go. If people have business with you, they can speak with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. You push the ratings for the weekly show, monthly show, yeah, whatever.
No, there's no way. Look at all you people. There's no way that I push. No. Thank you.
Look at the bright side. At least now our enemies will know wherever we are at any given time. Oh, wait.
Oh, that's more money for us.
Are we taking rep with us? So, come to think of it?
Glace or somebody usually always carries Rec with you guys just in case.
Let's bring it with us, but leave it off inside the observatory unless there's something that we actually should record.
Oh, are you sure? It could be juicy.
I don't want people to see our innermost heart beats, whatever that means.
Fine, the ratings will suffer, but I believe.
Oh my
I mean, I've seen his heart in that jar. It still does look juicy.
You guys all gather together, placing your hands on the crystal communicator, and with a flash, you find yourselves outside. As you peer around, you're in the landing area where a number of other spelljammers are located. You see various groups of people shifting to and fro, coming to their ships. You see a number of what look like elves, maybe half-elves, cleaning a couple of the ships. You guys know that to get to Jager Capital, you have to, again, traverse through the ruins. This time, hopefully, with a little bit extra security as you make your way through so as not to run into those Centillium again, you begin making your way there. As you are headed on your way, you pass through the outskirts of this ruinous area without much fuss. There's really... You actually do notice, beyond the occasional passerby and the occasional sentry guard, these humanoid-looking creatures made from pure wood. They almost look like tree folk of some type. Seem to be moving back and forth. You get the sense that they are probably just keeping an extra eye out on the paths that lead through this area. They don't seem to pay you any mind as you move through. And you guys find yourselves at the entrance of Jager Capital, this tall, pearl-esque gateway, arched gateway that begins to ascend in a number of stairs due to the verticality and the general makeup of the capital itself, made of this stonework and occasionally marble. It's here that Jashini turns. And Vidi, are you invisible or not?
Well, Aesop said I was okay to not be invisible, and I definitely trust him because he's really smart. So, I don't like it, but no, I'm not invisible.
We can make you invisible if you feel more.
I just don't want you guys getting hurt. That's all.
I'll tell you what, we can do the invisible thing now, but let's not make a habit of it. No need for that.
Huzzah! Invisible. He's not invisible, don't you? Okay, now he's invisible.
He looks so... He thinks he's invisible. What an idiot. I'm just kidding. You're very much invisible.
You guys are the best.
Fa keeps on talking like she's not, just like she's pretending. Where did he go? I can't see him. Literally can't. I don't know where he is.
Jashini turns to all of you and says, me and Nviti have talked. This is where I will part ways with you all.
Oh?
I had a good time. Thank you for your patronage in having me on your ship.
You were very good for morale. Thank you, Jashi.
As I was hired to do in the first place, she says, smiling your way, Nviti.
Yeah, it's really good to have you around. Sorry I left you on the ship a lot more than I wanted to, but you didn't need to get hurt just to help us have better lives on the ship. So I really hope things are better off and you can actually, have more fun.
I had plenty of good times and got to see sights that I never would have should I have ventured on my own. It is an experience I will not forget. She runs a hand across your cheek and brings two hands up to the side of her head underneath her hair, and pulling out is a intricate looking bejeweled earring that curves, made out of gold and a few gemstones of red, that almost looks like the curvature of like wind, and in this goldish pattern perhaps sand in the wind. And she opens your palm and places it in it. Something to remember me by. Maybe I will see you again sometime.
I hope so. Thank you for everything. I really, really mean it. I can't thank you enough for saving me, but I just really hope that you can, enjoy yourself now.
You have in a way saved me. You have given me a completely new life with the things you have afforded me. I had fun teasing you, but I truly do mean it. And she leans in, pulling up the piece of fabric covering her mouth, and gives you a peck against the cheek. Goodbye, NVD.
Can I give her the...
The tome.
Yeah, exactly. No, can I give her the Dark Shard amulet in return?
She looks down at the item that you pilfer out of your pack. Oh, what is this?
Just like your earrings. A keepsake if you want it.
Oh, is it a special item? Or some magic or something infused in this?
Yeah, it'll cast some basic kind of fun entry-level spells, but just kind of looks nice too.
I will think of it more as a keepsake than to remember you by. Thank you, she says, and takes it with her. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for having me with you.
Of course.
Bye.
And her, with a wave goodbye to you all, flickering her fingers up and down. You see her sashay up the steps. And with that, she heads into the city. And
Hate to see her leave, but I'd love to watch her go.
It's all right, NVD. I remember my first breakup was hard too. Hey, listen, there are plenty of other fish in the sea, though.
I mean,
Plenty of other prostitutes out there too.
Yeah, how much did you pay for your first love, Aesop?
Oh, nothing. You don't have to pay when you're smart.
Oh.
I
Wait.
look around and make sure Hush isn't here. Just...
I literally thought of that too.
I guess I deserve all of that, but thank you.
Well, of course.
Who said that? Where'd that voice come from?
Oh yeah, he's invisible.
This life is not easy to live, Margramon says. Better for girl to stay safe.
Very wise thing to say.
That was my thinking too. It's not fair to keep birds caged.
You know,
What was that, Rinkai?
I was gonna say, you know, Mogdramon, he's got some extra gold if you're, if we can get him and begin to stroll up.
I'm not sure I understand, he says.
Oh, it's okay. NVD can take good care of you. It's all right.
You only need pay my fair price, that is all. I ask for nothing more.
Fair enough.
He seems to not understand your joke.
I'm glad he doesn't understand your joke.
He would probably kill me. Anyways, no. After you.
You guys continue making your way through lower Jadra, passing by the sites and the groups of people, seeing the lush nature of the area here. This certainly seems like the place that the Sacred Serenitals would be a part of. shifting, heading up the stonework and marbled areas into the higher ascension area of Upper Jadra, and eventually making your way via way of Dire Pigeon to Elysia's observatory up above. You each collectively pay a gold fare to head up the pigeon. It is a two-way trip though, and you don't have to pay going back. And you all find yourselves at the observatory.
Even smart guys have to pay.
I pay my 1 gold and get on the dire.
All right. You guys find yourselves at the observatory. Hang on just a second. I'll switch this up. All right. You guys just head right in and begin heading on up.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
As you head in, you're met by one of the associates here at the observatory. The woman over to the right, standing next to what looks like a chef. She greets you all and reminds you her name is Gracidia. She understands you guys probably venturing out for several months, meeting other people, don't remember every single name, and says that Elysia mentioned that you guys were going to come by, and says that she's ready for you and is currently not busy, and to just go ahead and head straight up to the observatory level. So if you guys want, you can, I'll just collectively move you up there. You guys head up from the first level. There doesn't seem to be a class per se going on the second level, but you do notice a small sort of like sporadic collection of people standing around what looks to be one of the teachers having a conversation. You all ascend the stairs and find yourselves heading towards the top, entering this large open space with various iconography and text and tomes surrounding the area of the top of the third level here. And Elysia turns and says, welcome.
Hi. We're back.
Good to see you again.
Oh, sorry. Can I prestidigitation or not? I'm sorry. Yeah, prestidigitation some like basic sparkles and become uninvisible because I'm talking and I'm invisible.
Yeah, she raises an eyebrow for a second until you sort of indicate using a bit of magic that you're there. Oh, yes, I see. She
Sorry.
thinks for a minute. Probably not a terrible idea, at least for the time being. You are safe within the relative realms of the observatory, just to let you know.
Thank you.
So then, as some of you are aware and have gone through the procedure before, I wanted to do a bit of a ritual as an illuminator for you all. I seek to read your inner selves and see how it ties to cosmos of the Twixt itself. If you all don't mind.
I mean, what could go wrong? Sure.
I'm
God
curious.
damn it.
As
I
you
just-
know, Sun Kong and others, this process is painless. I require nothing from you other than a little bit of quiet for me to concentrate, that's all. If you're ready, I will
Merry
start now,
non-denominational
she says.
holiday
Ooh.
experience to all of you
Ooh, exciting.
nerds.
Do we have to like sit down like in a circle or hold hands or anything like that? With
Oh, no, that's not necessary. You can stand within the relative closeness of me, and I shall take care of the rest, she says.
Neat.
Thank you, Leave of Explorers, for the bits. That's very nice of you. Happy holidays to yourself. You all finish stepping up the stairs and gather around this. I'm blanking on the name of this contraption that's in the middle of this observatory here. What this would be called?
It's an orrery.
An orrery. That's right. You gather around the golden-like orrery, and she stands in between the orrery and you all as a group, and begins to focus. She goes quiet, holding her hands out to the sides.
So what is this like? You're gonna get like us individually, or like group, or but like
All
I'm kind of
together, she says.
So like you won't learn something about us like that we didn't personally know ourselves or anything.
Wait.
The lady work.
I mean, this is
the lady work.
We have to be
It's-
quiet.
okay. Okay.
As she continues holding her hands up, the lanterns providing a light spread out across the room, as well as the large, tall, vertical windows that allow plenty of light to enter. Despite all of this light in the room, everything seems to dim and grow darker. You all find yourselves standing in a darkened room. The circular walls of the room seem to almost expand out in this darkness, and you see past the orrery what almost looks like celestial bodies in the distance. She begins to focus. I see that all of your heartbeats are still in tune with the Twixt plane itself. You told me a myriad of things back on your ship. I have been thinking on this. Am I to assume that your actions in Sigil is what created the Twixt plane itself?
That seems to be what they had been discovering, right, Jason?
That's correct,
I mean,
yes.
This would normally be, I think, where Glosse says something, so
Yeah,
I don't want to get it wrong.
They would have told Aesop in between that their actions is what causes. So, she continues. Your heartbeat, I sense it. It flows in a rhythm not dissimilar from the plane and the life within it itself. Though it seems tied from the past, the sensation I get, these arcane synapses that fire in my mind from reading you, is non-linear. You may have a large hand in the Twix's fate in the future as well. I'm sensing some things. It seems as though your heartbeats are not only connected to the Twixt plane, but to something else. Perhaps something old. The word that comes to mind is a word you have mentioned to me, Twilight. These two things are tied closely to you all. There is also something else. This different from the others. A collection of various peoples. They have close ties with you all. Their heartbeats ring the same as yours, though I do not know if their intent follows in suit with your own. It's difficult to make out. They don't seem to be located within the Twixt itself. Does this ring any bells to any of you all?
Well, I mean, most of us were drawn here, right? At least our homes were drawn into Twixt.
We all came from outside the Twixt. And then we know that one woman, Amryn, she's outside the Twixt right now.
That is true, yes.
I'm pushing a little deeper, she says. This collection of people, does it have any ties to any of your backgrounds in terms of a plane of existence in the abyss?
The Abyss. Oh. This wouldn't have anything to do with a group called the 10th Pit, would it?
10th Pit, she says, her voice echoing. Peacekeepers?
That's,
In a
yes.
sense.
Well, that's what they introduced themselves as.
I do not know much, if any, information about this collection. But they, similarly to this Twilight and the Twixt itself, are all closely tied with your own fates.
Is that good? Are you saying we should trust them? We shouldn't trust them? What?
I don't know, she says.
Well, we certainly are very entangled with them now at this point.
That's for sure.
She breathes in deep and exhales. As she exhales slowly, the light that was dim in the room begins to increase in brightness again. And the dim nature that the room was settled in for a few minutes dissipates, and it is a normal sunny day pushing through the windows. I know that may not be much for you all, but I hope it is something at least.
It possibly is.
The four factions of the Twixt, the Sacred Serenitals, the Masterminds, Bullionaire Bastion, and
Trollers.
the Pioneer Patrollers, they are all large and important groups of this larger consortium that exists within the Twixt, yet I sensed no deep connection with any of them. Whoever these peacekeepers are, they must not only be important, but have a seemingly close tie to you all. From what I gather, it seems as though you may have had some connection with them in the past. Is this correct?
Whoa. Yes.
With the consortium, yeah. I mean, we've worked with all of them, kind of.
No, these peacekeepers.
Oh, I mean, if you're talking about the 10th Pit, then yeah.
Is this another name they go by, the 10th Pit?
Yes, although that isn't... I don't think that's widely known.
Yeah, they're not on the open about themselves.
I mean, Peacekeepers has much better optics than 10th Pit, if you really think.
Yeah.
Is Peacekeepers a proper name then?
I believe it is. I believe
like it's a collective name, like company name.
Yeah, not like they're
Okay.
noun peacekeepers. They are peacekeepers, I think is the idea.
I trust that your dealings with this group and the fact that you've done some portion of interaction with them, as well as the name Peacekeepers, implies that they are a good organization.
It's ambiguous. I'm privy to trust them because we've had a mutually beneficial relationship. They haven't done anything... Yes, so far, as Sun Kong says. They haven't done anything overtly evil in our presence. And, in fact, they've helped us achieve our goals, which I think we can all agree are good. Right? Everyone?
We're good. We try our best.
I don't trust them one bit. Anybody who has a zone of truth when you walk to meet them has to be hiding something. But it's worked to our advantage. It'll probably bite us in the ass. Live for the moment.
Yeah, I wouldn't. They keep asking me for a copy of my tome. There's no way I'm giving that to them.
A fair point, yes.
Why does everybody want this book?
It's a powerful book.
I guess so.
With it, yes. Anyway, point being, a little ambiguous on this tin pit, yes. For now, I'm willing to assume that their intentions are fine, but it doesn't sound like the rest of the group necessarily agrees with me there.
They're grey. They're a bit grey.
The 10th pit. If we were to go by Abyss standards, the 10th layer of the Abyss is a unknown place where few who have gone have come back to tell any tales. The little we do know about it is they have simply called it that hellhole.
Okay.
That's positive.
I trust you all as you have done what you can to ally yourself with, as far as I am concerned, people who are looking out for the best interest of the Twixt and its people, that you know what you're doing in this matter. I would just be wary with anyone you deal with.
I feel like we have a good sense of wariness about people.
They're pretty cagey now.
I was also thinking, from all of this information you told me hours ago, that this Twixt, it being a plane that perhaps exists in place of whatever happened to Sigil, whatever this event was that erased it from everyone's memories, that the rifts we experience throughout the cosmos, the same ones that I hear murmurs from the consulates tell tales about, that perhaps these are what is left of Sigil's portals at one point. And if you remember, Sigil had a portal that led to every place in the multiverse. This, if anything, is a definitive factor in the reasoning that you should be careful whom you reveal this information to, as with the knowledge of knowing that somewhere here in the Twixt there is a portal to anywhere they wish to go to. That could potentially be hazardous.
You could control it. You could have all the power and privilege of this Sigil place at your fingertips. Very, very scary stuff there.
My thinking exactly. I hope that was of some revelation to you. I sensed a sense of vagueness from it all, but I hope it at least provides some points for you to ponder in the future. Down below, my associates will offer you some astral wares should you want to check them out.
Ooh.
Well,
Nice.
we appreciate you doing anything you can to help us, Elysia. Of course.
Yes, yes.
Definitely. Thank you.
Before you all go, I was approached by one of the sentries of this capital. They must have seen me dealing with you in the past and knew that you were in town. They have requested that you give audience to our perennial.
Who? Perennial, is that a name?
Yes,
Yeah.
the ruler of the capital. She is a high-ranking member of the Serenitals.
I mean,
Uh,
I
was
suppose.
anything specific?
I have a feeling that she has become aware of you either through your actions directly within the capital, or she has at least seen you on the arcane programmed illusions that you've been using as this new form of income.
Oh, if she's a fan, then we have to.
Love it.
Sure.
Anything for our fans, right, Glasse?
Absolutely, honey.
Everyone needs to play Glace one session.
It's too good.
If I may be so bold, she more than likely just wishes to meet with you and make sure you are above the board, having some importance higher than other typical wild knots who venture here at the capital. If she is to seek your audience, there may be opportunities for you, information you can glean, contacts that you can make that I cannot offer you. I ask that if you are to gain her audience, you ask to speak with the Garling Da.
Okay.
She will have more information about this. Just be ready to show proper respect. She is the perennial, and her name is Abloom.
Was it Doubloon?
Abloom. I will give you the directions. Yes, she is within the citadel, yes.
I see no reason why we shouldn't.
I mean, already here.
Temple Serenity, the place that I'm sure you took Kemo here to grant him his new form. I will give you the directions. Past that, towards the top of the spires of Jadra Capital, you will find Abloom. Enter into her domain, ask to speak to her, and you will more than likely be granted an audience, especially if they are seeking you out.
Fantastic. Maybe she has a job for us.
Perhaps.
Maybe she wants an autograph.
I would also ask you all to be sure to, again, check out any of my astral items should you find them useful.
Oh, I'm definitely going to do that.
And as far as I'm aware, despite you being allied with Billionaire Bastion, it may not hurt to try and ally yourselves to some of the other consortium factions, or at the very least, meet with other representatives, whomever you can, and gain favor from them. This could provide benefits for you in the future, as well as you being in a position such as yours, having survived so long as Wild Knots, you could potentially offer benefits to them as well.
Yes, it's perfectly reasonable.
Can't hurt. Okay.
Good. Now, before you head back down, besides being allied with those consortium factions, might I understand, as mentioned before, that you are serving as some type of elite guard for the arcane that's on your ship?
I guess you could call it that.
I see. And he has been cordial to you all.
I mean, yeah, he gave us the ship. We've only
He's
kind
been
of just
minimally
met.
helpful at best, honey.
I see.
He hides. He appears. He disappears again. You never know when he'll be here.
He did bequeath the ship to us, though. I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
I don't mean to plant any seeds of mistrust. I just want you all to be sure and not mistake the cordial and personable nature of the arcane as altruism. The arcane are serious businessmen. It does not matter to them who they do business with. There is a trade, it is conducted and done.
You know, in a lot of ways, it kind of makes them sound like peacekeepers. 10th Pit kind of seems to have a similar... Why do we keep getting mixed up with people like this? I feel like it's partially my fault. Too trusting.
At the very least, it seems like you have some history with this arcane man, so I think it fit that you continue the relationship with him. Just something to keep in mind, as I know it is not every day you spend time with the arcane. They are spotty and a mysterious bunch. Well then, if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I will get back to my work, and down below I will be happy to have my associates show you what I can offer you.
I would love to look at those wares.
Well, let's check that out then.
Alright, she says, and let's see here.
As I'm walking down the stairs, just gonna whisper to like whoever is standing near me, like,
So my main takeaway there is to not trust anyone that we're currently working.
Does that mean you too?
You're not working for me. You're working with me. It's different.
I
Right.
technically work for you all.
Oh,
Oh,
Well,
shit.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We stopped doing that a while ago.
I mean,
Well,
I
also-
wouldn't trust me either.
At the same time, she told us to maybe try to get in better with the other members of the consortium.
I suppose, yes. It's true. I suppose we should just do as she says and start here. Well, I mean, we may as well, right?
We are here.
Agreed.
Okay, as you guys head down the stairs, if you want, one of the associates meets with you and brings you over to a first floor room that has a varied collection of interesting items, which you guys will see here on the Astral Traveler merchant list.
Up to what level do they have?
In here, everything that is good quality and below, minus the plane shift spell, as it frequently is temperamental here in the Twixt. So they have ruled it out of safety for people who try to buy it and find themselves somewhere they really shouldn't be, like in the middle of wild space.
Oh my god.
I mean,
A thought goes running to the desk. It says, "Hey, so I see you have a portable hole for sale. I have a cube of force. I'll do a trade."
The Cube of Force, do you know the rarity of that item? Well, actually, it's right here on the list. So he
Guys,
is going.
It's on D&D Beyond as well.
right back quickly.
Oh, a jar of preserving. I think you need a few more, Aesop.
I'm fine with just the single one, but I'm also looking at this mortar and pestle that can grind anything. Dust. I feel like that's
The merchant here, Fa, takes a couple minutes inspecting your cubiforce.
Pretty nice. It's
and
rare.
turns to you and says, "We could make this trade. I will offer you the portable hole with the trade of the cube of force and an extra 500 gold on top." Portable hole, also a rare item.
Do you have 500 gold? Huh?
Trying to remember. 'Cause I put everything on D&D Beyond.
D&D
yeah.
Beyond,
Wait,
guys.
you already had a cube of force, right?
No,
Yeah,
he
I'm trying to
wants
trade it for a portable hole.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I kept. I'm gonna buy the obsidian mortar and pestle, and the fucking thing that makes soup.
I was gonna buy that also, but I mean,
Actually, that makes more sense. You should buy it. We don't need two of them.
The ever bountiful soup kettle.
oh yes.
That shit's awesome.
Sun Kong, you are instructed that over a period once a day, you can turn 2 gallons of water poured into the kettle into a not incredibly tasty soup, but a passable soup that will feed you should you find yourselves in a place that may not have rations, or you may find yourselves out of food, and it will feed up to 6 people with that amount.
Sounds great.
We had a decanter of endless water.
Right?
It's a good thing that we do. Also, Aesop can make, I think, 2 gallons of water a day. I can make up to 8 gallons of water a day. So
It's just
we have soup for days, y'all.
I kind of want to get a bag of holding, but I'm kind of saving my money for another 1 or 2 tattoos.
Plus, I already have a bag of holding.
This is true.
Yeah. I want a tattoo also, but that ever bountiful soup kettle is common.
Aesop, you are shown this obsidian mortar and pestle, and the merchant places a copper coin inside. He takes a quick bite of it like you typically see and puts it inside, and you watch as he crushes it. Despite him biting down and it having the typical strength that it would as a standard copper coin, as the mortar and pestle begin to grind into it, you watch it actually grind down and begin to form into almost like a powdery dust.
Wow, that's it's amazingly helpful in my work. I will take it post haste, and I will slide him 25 flat pieces.
Oh shit! He takes your money gladly and blows out the refuse of the copper powder and wipes it down for you and hands it over, doing the trick.
Thank you very much.
And then Fa, this transaction where you...
Yeah, just got so excited about seeing that he had it. I think I'm gonna keep it. No deal, bud.
She says it like she got one up on him somehow. No deal.
You can add a cube of force.
We have one in stock already, but I appreciate the offer. I hope you find yours of use to you.
Could have had 2, but twice.
Perhaps at another time when you are ready to transact with us. Is that everything, he says?
I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
Alright. You guys... Oh, NVIDIA, is there anything interesting to you on there?
Is that elemental compass anything that we could use? Kind of looks cool.
Actually, no, I don't know that we need it. Kemo is an elemental compass, and All portal compass.
Okay.
So not necessarily, but choice is yours.
All right.
No, I'm all right.
Okay. He leads you guys back out, and with that, you have the destination of where to go to meet this perennial abloom. And if you're ready, you can begin heading that way.
Before we head that way, I want to do Kemo's detect portals. Once per short rest as an action, you can detect portals. Detect the distance and direction of the closest planar within 1 mile of you. I would like to do that.
Okay. So this is just the closest one that's to you?
Yeah.
As you close your eyes and focus in on this, you sense that it goes up to 1 mile, you said?
Correct.
You wait to get the sensation of the nearest planar portal. Now, is this any portal or specifically to
Any
Okay.
presence of a planar.
Gotcha. Okay. You focus in. It actually doesn't take long. Kemo, you sense that on the 3rd floor of the observatory, there is a planar portal.
That's what I...
Oh, interesting.
It's... I was trying to read. I think it just gives me the distance direction. I don't think it tells me what kind of or anything like that.
Make a Arcana check.
Arcana with super smart Kemo, excellent. -1. 9.
Me feel portal nearby, be tingly.
He calls them caves. I mean, that lines up.
You are at least able, as said before, to sense a cave is probably somewhere on the 3rd level of the observatory, though where exactly it is located, the exact nature of it, and where it leads to, you're unsure of, unfortunately. But you do sense one pretty damn close by.
Okay. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, he'd say as much. I think there's one of those caves. What did she call it? A portal? There's
Yes.
one in this building.
Ah, interesting.
I was gonna check while we were upstairs, but somebody was watching me inside, so...
I'm guessing it has something that grand orrery it has in the... It's probably of no concern.
Probably. All right. So, anything else here at the observatory? Or are you guys ready to shuffle off and try to meet with this perennial?
Let's fucking meet with this perennial.
I do have to head out.
All right. It was good having you, Slim. We'll see you.
My apologies.
Next
Merry
week?
Christmas, everybody. Yes, sir. I'll be here next week for sure. But
All right.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays.
And to you, sir.
And to you as well. Let's see here. Hang on just a second. There we go. You guys begin your trek outside of the observatory, riding the dire pigeons down. From the directions you were given, you know that this area where these perennial is located isn't too far. You're already in Upper Jadra. You know that the area you were given, as well as Temple Serenity that you have to pass to get there, is pretty close by. So you guys make your trek there, following along the pathways that continue to ascend. You pass Temple Serenity. And as you begin to make your way, the general crowd and makeup of the capital begins to lessen. And you find more and more you seeing what seems to be specific members of the Sacred Serenity. Past Temple Serenity, it seems like most of the facilities here are directly and specifically for the Sacred Serenitals. There are plenty of these a mixture between these woodfolk-looking woodwoads that are these guards made of bark with this bark skin, as well as the centaur-like sentries that you've seen before that are they watch you, but they don't stop you or anything particularly like that. They may perhaps even be expecting you. As you continue on, you find yourself heading to the front of a long open walkway beset with a cover over top that is narrow and is covered at the sides, but at the very top between the roofing and the sides of this building here are columns, allowing plenty of light to pierce through. It is a mixture of marble and greenery here. And as you step up, there is what looks to be a gentleman standing, donned in the greenish white wear of a Serenital. His head shaved, and over his eyes is what looks to be some type of perhaps blindfold or cloth that covers it. Similarly, it is white, and both on his cloak that he wears and on the blindfold itself is the picture of, in gold and green, of an eye. As you step forward, he says, "Are you the Wyld Tycoons?"
Yes, that is we.
Bloom?
No, I am not a Bloom, but the perennial will see you. Please, step in. There is a long walkway leading to the back of the room. Towards the back, you see what looks to be some type of throne and a long green carpet that leads that way with some ascending stairs at the far end that lead up. You guys begin heading into this area. As you do, let's see here, just a second. You head into this area. And as you make your way towards the base of the steps that lead up to this throne, the large open sections and archways between the columns letting fresh light through. Behind and above the throne is the face of what looks like a very vague humanoid. A circular in pattern with various rays that strut out, orbiting the sides, giving the look of a sun. They're spotted on each side of you guys as you walk through this long hallway to get to this area are these woodwoad-like creatures. And at the top of the stairs, you guys see another two of these figures here that are wearing these blindfolds. And seated in the throne, you see a tall-looking female. She is donned in garb that reminds you of the Serenitals, greenish brown with some mixture of gold accessories within. She looks to be elfish in nature, long, straight, flowing green hair. However, at the top of her head, branching out in an antler-like fashion, no pun intended, are actual branches.
Oh.
Sprouting from them various vinework and leaves, and swirling between two exposed palms, occasionally flittering up to her ear. She leans in a bit. you see sitting at the throne, Perennial Abloom.
Ooh. Zoom in on them.
As she sees you all approach.
Fucking Vidi.
Oh no, and Vidi. Is this another Jashini?
Do you want to live on my ship? Like
I think she would be the sugar daddy in that scenario. I don't
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, that may be the case.
I look around. Is anyone like bowing or like kneeling or something? Should we be doing something with our hands?
We should be respectful. Remember?
Yeah. Really, really nice bow.
You see Nvidi bowing.
I give a less deep bow.
All right.
Kemo would bow. Fob would be with Aesop.
Sun Kong, you bowing?
I'm here. Sorry, I was on mute.
Are you bowing along with everybody else, Sun Kong?
Am I buying?
Bowing.
Bowing, yes.
Like
of course,
sign of
sorry.
respect.
Yeah. We had a. Yeah.
As you do, one of the figures to the side of a bloom calls out and says, Wyld knots, Wyld Tycoons. You're in the audience of Perennial Abloom. Welcome.
A pleasure to be here.
The
Elysia says some of this, I'm guessing.
I'm sure.
Yeah. We'll use our imaginations.
Yeah. The Perennial turns to you all and says, Welcome, Wyld Tycoons.
Oh, hello.
You may address me as Perennial or Abloom, whichever you wish.
Of course. As you wish, Perennial.
Which one is your title?
You may refer to me as Perennial as a title.
I'll say, I'm sure we'll bow so deeply that her head touches the ground. My Perennial.
Please, rise.
Rise. Yeah. Aesop's already stood up at this point.
Yeah. We had noticed that you wanted to see it.
Yes. I am busy in my affairs, being one of the leaders of the sacred serenitals, and typically do not find myself the time to meet with the Wyld knots who visit the capital to make trade or various dealings here. However, I have become aware of your group through various means. You have made a bit of a name for yourselves.
Oh, you catch our weeklies, I take it?
I have seen some of these arcane illusions before, yes.
That's where most people hear of it.
I first heard of you, however, through the consortium, as they mentioned that you would be a special outside influence in terms of our eventual debate about the eventual outcome of a certain creature that you may be aware of.
Yes. What to do about those pesky Trasks? No, not Trasks. Sorry, that was I would have said Witchlight Marauder in character. That was Luke messing up, not Aesop.
Oh, we do have to do something about Duras, though.
We do all. To be fair, we do also have to deal with Tarasks, but he would have said Witchlight Marauder.
Okay. She says, I brought you here because I wish to see for myself the actions of your group by way of word. I wish to ask you 3 questions.
Ooh, a quiz. Fun.
What is your favorite color?
All right.
Right. Can't not.
Do you seek favor from me, Wild Knots?
Well, we seek peaceful relations with all of the consortium, of course.
Very good. Then consider this the test. I will ask you this first question. I wish for you to answer it as a group.
Oh.
A small caravan traveling through a barren mountainscape to make way to a secluded village in the mountains who is in need of both food and medical supplies that the caravan carries. The mountainscape treacherous. To make sure that the travel is not waylaid by any extra time, they can only bring a certain amount of weight in terms of supply in the caravan itself. They must continue moving at a brisk pace, for the barren nature of the mountainscape means that those left out are almost certainly going to die of starvation. That is, if the territorial and hungry predators within the mountainscape do not get them first. During the travel there, the caravan master, the only human leading the caravan along its way by horseback, finds that there is a stowaway in the supplies, a young girl, hungry from the previous village, wanting to find her way onto the caravan. He confronts her, and she mentions that not only did she seek status as a stowaway in order to feed herself, but she also has a brother who lives in this secluded village up ahead, and she wished to seek to meet with him again. The caravan master, finding himself in a conundrum, understands that if she stays on board, the weight of her person, although small, will slow their trip, and certainly people in the secluded village may perish from the need for supplies reaching them too late. However, his other choice is to leave the young girl, not even of adult age, here out in the mountainscape to fend for herself, almost assuredly to die, either by starvation or the predators within. What decision would you make in this situation?
So, if you will allow me to recap, the addition of the weight of the girl would prevent the supplies from reaching the village in time.
Correct. The critical nature of the villagers would mean that even a few hours late would mean that a certain number of them would indeed perish.
This is something assuredly so if they take the girl, or probably so.
Let me think. In this hypothetical, is it purely hypothetical, or do we have our abilities as Wildlands? Because such a conundrum would be trivial for us. But if this was just a hypothetical scenario, then of course the question at face value is quite different.
I wish to know what you and your members with your abilities, seeing that you must be the ones in charge of this decision, would do in this situation.
So do we get like a sidebar, Jason? Like can we like discuss it amongst ourselves?
Yeah, she sits back in her throne and obviously kind of waits for you guys to convene together, knowing that you have to give a group answer.
Group huddle.
I mean, if it's us, we just throw the little girl at Sun Kong and have him run ahead, right?
I mean, yes, I can follow from the air more quickly than the caravan, almost assuredly, and start doing triage on the rest of the townspeople while we wait for the caravan to arrive. Meanwhile, Sun Kong will have already had the girl there.
Are we sure we're not just trying to answer some sort of question about would you sacrifice one to save another?
Well, see, that was my question. If we're dealing with us and our abilities, this question is trivial. It's less than nothing. We just use our natural states of adventuriness to complete the task easily. But if we were just a regular old town guard, then it does become more of a moral quandary, doesn't it?
Right. I mean, I think if the girl's willing to risk her life to try and see her brother, hopefully her brother doesn't die with the supplies not getting there late.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't need to get there late. Sun Kong would carry her there.
It's a good point. And Glace has portals and you can fly.
I suppose then.
But just throwing it out there. Apparently this village is already suffering for some... We need to add somebody else. Their cost, as it were. It's only going to consume more food, more medicine.
I suppose.
We're making a bad situation worse by trying to help one person.
But again, is this us we're talking about? I mean, it would be very easy for me to figure out a way of rationing medicine, using some of my own supplies to shore up any shortages they may have. Could leave them with seeds, means of producing more food.
This seems like it's a too easy answer.
I know, that's the worst part, it's what's driving me crazy. I feel like we're being tricked.
Well, that's what they say. If it sounds too good to be true, it isn't, so let's just get it over with.
I mean, she is really, really smart, so it probably is meant to be tough to answer.
Let's have a hypothetical, shall we? Let's pretend for a moment that we're all just, regular Joe Schmo town guards. Just a dream in our heart and a long sword in our hands and nothing else to speak of. What would we do in that scenario?
Sun Kong has already got the job.
Town guard number one.
He's sleeping on the job.
You notice Sun Kong shoulder against the marble wall to your side, slowly shifting down.
But I mean...
if we were just guards, I mean, the first question is, how did we let a little girl sneak onto our caravan? We did a really bad job there.
Oh, very good point.
We wouldn't be in this situation had we done the task of protecting the caravan.
We would have to, I'm sorry to say, and this is just me talking, I would leave the girl and turn myself in for disciplinary action when we return to our home citadel, wherever that may be. After all, what you're saying is true. If we were good guards, we would have already discovered the stowaway.
Yeah, maybe bring the girl back and see if there's another way to get her to the city.
I suppose one of us could... I suppose we could volunteer to follow behind. One of us could. That would be the only option. All right, I guess that's as good of an answer as we're going to get, then, isn't it?
I really can't think of another way to where we don't hurt the girl but we don't hurt the people that are waiting on us. And we take responsibility for our actions, or lack of actions, or whatever that would be considered.
All right, well, let's see if this suffices then.
Have you come up with your answer?
In a way, yes, we have two. Hopefully, this will suffice. As I mentioned previously, our first answer, if we are all there with our abilities, this problem becomes an entire non-issue. Our monk, Sun Kong here, carries the girl on his own and beats the caravan to the city before we even get there. Meanwhile, I am in tow carrying some early supplies for triage while we wait for the rest of the cargo to arrive. Meanwhile, the rest of the party secures the cargo in the caravan and makes sure that it is protected while it finishes its journey, now 2.5 and some odd supplies down, so therefore lighter and easier to carry the load the rest of the distance. That is our...
The missing supplies.
Oh, sorry, Jason. Missing supplies?
The amount of supplies that were taken by the young girl and eaten on the trek there.
Well, you see, that's very easy if I were there. I'm a doctor by trade, you see. I know how to triage, I know how to ration medicine, and I know how to cook up some homeopathic remedies of my own, you see. A small, one person's pilfering of supplies would not put any lives at risk, so long as myself is there. Glace also very good with tending to the sick and having healing magics.
And do you all have some way to simply provide nourishment by way of food to the people?
Indeed, for as long as we are there, we have the ability to help feed them. And what's more, I think, with Brinkaz's hunting skills, teach them how to hunt and gather more food for themselves.
Very well. Let us move on to the second question.
Oh. Aesop turns around. Nailed it, guys.
The same situation, however, you as a group are not directly in contact with the caravan. You must make a decision. There is one normal guard tending to the caravan, leading it to the destination, and he must make a decision. The young girl aboard, if continued to be taken with, will slow the travel down, and also, of course, consume out of necessity some of the supplies.
Is it just the guard? It's just the one guard in this situation?
Just the one leading the caravan to its destination.
No drivers or anything, I guess is what I'm asking.
The guard would be the one leading the way. Reins in tow, he would be leading them through the mountainscape.
So, what you're saying is it would be impossible for the guard to send the caravan forward on its own. He would have to lead it.
Being the sole driver, this is correct. He could not leave it himself.
Oh, well then, Fa turns and kind of huddles everybody. If there's only one guard and he dies, then nothing good happens. But if he takes the girl, then at least there's one more chance that he can survive. Supplies may go missing for that, but at least they show up at all.
But it's highly possible in this scenario that many more lives are lost. If the supplies show up and there's only half of what was promised, there could be dozens of deaths, whereas leaving the girl means there's only one.
Yes, my thought was if something happened to the guard, then the girl could carry on.
I don't think the girl could drive a caravan on her own.
No,
That attitude.
There are child prodigies, but I don't think this is one of them.
It just seems to me like leaving the girl is always the wrong answer.
I don't like it, but that might be the case.
I want to make a quick look around the room. Is there any, like, iconography that kind of speaks to the idea of one sacrificing for many, or vice versa? Many sacrificing for one?
Make a perception check.
Can I assist on that?
Sure.
There you go, dude.
Whoa, God. Fuck. Smart girl. Should have figured that one out. Perception +8, so 17.
As you and NVD peer around, you, of course, see the symbol of what looks to be the sun with the humanoid face and the rays above the throne. The only other work etched in marble to the sides of the walls here, sort of the base of the steps that you see, nothing that conveys that complex of an idea, Fawn and Vidi, but you guys do see etched work into the stone that gives you the it looks like very crude and simple looking humanoid figures that are collecting what looks like grain and crops, feeding it to others. And you also see what seems to be just rays of light, and you can make out what looks to be humanoids that perhaps were hurt or in pain and standing back on their feet as if healed. But nothing that ticks you off into more of a deeper meaning of having to get rid of one, sacrifice the one for many. Nothing that you see here.
Frustrates.
I mean, it's logically the best thing to do, but I don't think I could look at a little one and abandon them in a time of need. Even if that meant people dying, not the right thing to do.
Well, see, this is the difficult part, is we have to answer as a group. Because I would almost certainly leave the child, as much as it pains me to say.
Yeah.
Can we just say this is a hypothetical and answer that way, so I don't have to think about it?
I mean, it certainly is.
I don't like it, but I do agree with your logic. I do think it's what has to be done.
Very well then. Our answer for this one is more difficult, Perennial. We're not able to come to a very clean-cut consensus.
You are all judge and jury. One must answer for all.
I think for the most part, given the parameters, we are only able to contact the caravan. We are not personally there. There's only one guard, and he must be present to drive the caravan to the village. And the little girl is incapable of driving the caravan herself. The only thing left to do that ensures the most good is unfortunately leaving the little girl to the wilds. This is not something we would do lightly or easily. And in fact, again, if we were there present, we may have magics that could reverse the unfortunate side effects of a girl wandering alone in the wilderness, were we able to find her corpse after the fact. It is something we would have to do with a heavy heart, but if it meant saving an entire village, then I'm afraid in this case the needs of the many may outweigh the needs of the...
Perennial Bloom, leans back in her chair, studying each of your faces. What looks to be some type of fairy floating through the air, glistening through the sunlight, or the just general light of the vicinity, flitters up to her ear, and it seems to speak on one side, and she leans in to listen. She pulls back up and is quiet for a good couple seconds. She says,
Let us move on to the third question.
Oh, there's a third one. Oh, continue.
Answer me the questions 3.
This symbol above, a conjunction, pantheon of gods that those of us here at the Serenidal serve. Each ray, you see, a spire, a memorial to the deities that we praise. This ray of Coralon, this of Lathander, this of Malil, this of Shantia. Each one having a distinct purpose when we devoutly express our wants and needs to our gods. This an individual question to each of you, Wild Knots. What gods do you pray to?
No.
Ooh.
About that.
Well, I mean, Sun Kong, I think it's fair to say that your dedication to improving yourself is almost dogmatic in a way.
I mean, sure, I guess.
Your physical prowess.
It's just being about being at peace.
We're not a very religious group, are we?
No. Unless you count technology and innovation, or just punching people.
Just punch. I mean, in VT, I guess you're the closest thing we have.
Yeah, I respect all deities for the most part, except for the really bad ones. I mean, I just kind of respect power. I don't really respect what they do, but other than trying to commune with the author, I don't really. Just kind of respectful and try to observe as many things as people I'm around as possible.
This is an interesting question because it's really making me think why I never picked up any sort of religion myself. I mean, after all, we all have tangible proof that the gods exist, so it seems odd.
Sure.
It seems odd for so few of us to hold a religion. But again, this feels like we're giving the wrong answer.
It just doesn't. It's not useful. Religion.
Well, I mean, maybe not to us, maybe not to you, but I'm sure that's not the sort of thing we want to say in front of the perennial, who just pointed out her pantheon to us.
I think it's just to make sure that we're not worshiping things that they really don't like.
A fair point.
If we're just respectful of their points of view, I don't see there being a problem.
I suppose the best thing we can do is be honest.
I agree with that.
Perennial, for the most part, the Wyld Tycoons, with a few rare exceptions, have mostly dedicated our lives to the improvement and betterment of ourselves. That's what makes us such great heroes. We have no qualms with those that worship any sort of deities whatsoever, but I think for the most part, we are a fairly secular group. Unless, I don't know, I look to NVD to see if he wants to interject anything.
I've studied deities a great deal. I kind of know a little bit about each one you mentioned, but for the most part, other than communing with my patron, I just try to be respectful and observe those that observe.
And this patron is whom?
still learning about that.
Maybe I whisper. Maybe at least a name would help alleviate any sort of suspicion.
It's a celestial dragon that goes by the author. Or a boreal dragon, rather, from a celestial plane.
Huh?
I see, she says.
Calmly. This time, the fairy on the other side flitters to her ear and she turns that way. You watch her stare at you all. She takes a deep breath in and back out, studying you all one more time, as if going through things in her mind. She says,
If you would permit, I would like to ask you one more question.
I mean, at this point.
You all mentioned the value of strengthening yourselves to find a better life for each and every one of you. My fourth and final question is, what do you seek to better enrich the lives of those around you?
Is this for each of us personally or a group answer?
I will accept either.
Say individual would be the easiest. I seek better living through medicine, and I seek hope and a return to normalcy, long stolen from my people.
she nods at this and then looks to you, Sung Kong.
I seek inner peace through training my body to protect those around me.
She nods and turns to you and Vini.
Peace within myself to be able to spread peace to others and always find a better way.
She finally, after nodding, turns to you. Well, Fa/Kemo.
Kemo would say, only ever been good at taking them, not giving them. But I figure if I take the right, maybe I can save a few. And then Fa would say, what he said.
She nods at this. And after contemplating says,
As far as I am aware, you have currently allied yourself, or at the very least gained a certain amount of favor from the Billionaire Bastion. However, at this moment, I would ask that we too extend favor with one another. However, I first ask you to make a vow with me.
Swear to me.
Sure, I guess.
Let's hear it.
I wish for you all in your travels to seek a greater good than personal gain. The Wyld knots, no offense to this term, but are adjacent to mercenaries. A much dangerous job, to be assured, but they risk danger for greater reward for themselves. This may include family or friends, but at the end of the day, it is for their own glory. I ask that you seek glory not for yourselves, or perhaps to some degree yourselves, but including those of us here in the Twixt. Can you make me that promise?
Yes, Yes, I don't know what else to say.
I feel like we do that.
Give it our best shot, Your Highness.
You're supposed to call her perennial, not Your Highness.
Yeah, your perennialness.
Better.
Oof.
That is okay. I do not expect a high amount of formality. Then-
Aesop just looks around at this giant marble throne room they're standing in.
She was.
It's casual, formal. It's fine.
she was saying that as lightly as a slight as possible.
Sure.
For you guys to waltz in here.
Bunch of slack-jawed wild knots around here.
Like picking our nose and
Yeah, you got a mighty fine palace here.
Just y'all got any dip?
I have a request for you all. Should I accept your vow? This will more than likely garner you some amount of favor. And perhaps answers.
Very well.
I ask that you seek an audience with the Exarch of the Sacred Serenitals. You will speak to the highest order, the ruler of the Serenitals themselves.
Oh.
You will speak to Jadra itself.
The world, Jadra.
This world, this sun that you have come to know, have you heard the sounds of its songs as you near its surface?
Yeah, and I paint with all the colors of the wind, too.
Fa, 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 fa. Being respectful here.
What? She's being crazy.
Let's stow it for later, shall we?
Yeah. Okay.
This is I'm confused. Are you speaking figuratively, like they're so important that they represent all of Jadra, or do you mean we're literally going to be speaking to Jadra itself?
This capital and the accompanying islands that are the makeup within this hollow giant of a sphere continue to exist and gain our light not through a sunlight from the Jadra itself, but from a place we call the well, a connection to the positive energy plane. Outside, this sun that you have more than likely come to understand is no sun at all. It radiates the light of life from the well itself. The gas giant of Jadra is actually a creature known as a Golinda.
Oh, all right. That is pretty surprising. So, we're like symbiotes, parasites, living on it, essentially. Not to be too crass.
In a manner of speaking, yes. However, it is a mutual bond.
Of course, symbiotic, natural.
The Golinda exists for centuries, and thus will have a wealth of knowledge that is beyond any of us here in the Serenitals ourselves. But the Golinda only speak in an ancient song. So to understand its musings, you will need a muse of your own.
Oh, honey, well, you've got that here.
Perfect Glace interjection. That is exactly what would be said right now. Oh, what do you? Glace is a kind of muse, but I don't know if that's what means.
I have no doubt that you are certainly talented, Glace, in your abilities. However, I am ready to offer assistance to you through one of our own trained muses here, who has specifically studied the language of the Gonn, a simpler term for their names. I believe you have met Ilanalu once before.
Oh, yes. Glace, if you kind of nudge Glace, because I think Glace had some more stuff she wanted to talk to Ilanalu about, if I recall correctly.
Oh, yeah. I wrote it in my diary. How did I ever let her get away?
Glacelur, do you have an instrument on you that holds arcane energies? Something that the muse Ilanalu can channel her energy through to perceive the speech of the Gonn.
Oh, you know it, honey, but I don't. So.
Well, what about that? What was the instrument that she just bought?
Yeah, she's got a DOS loop too, doesn't she?
She recently bought her lyre, yes. Infused with magical properties.
The
lyre of like...
Or a lyre, yeah.
C-L-I, lyre. Clire?
Oh, yeah. One of the legendary ones.
Yeah, wondrous rare.
Then she answers yes, that she does.
Yes!
Very well. Ilanalu has spoken highly of you all. And I've made sure that before she departs for her way back to the celestial cradle, that I have her follow along with you on your ship, escorted outside of Jadra, and close to the Gonn. You shall speak to it through her. Ask of it whatever you wish. Simply implore it that you have been sent by perennial bloom, and that you seek answers for questions it may only have the knowledge of.
Oh, okay. This is quite the opportunity. Thank you.
I hope that you understand that it is of some significance getting to speak to the leader of the sacred Cyrnidals, and that you do not take it lightly.
Of course, it is a great honor.
I simply ask that you remember your vow that you have made here.
Of course.
Very well. If you all don't mind, I will send word to Ilanalu, and I will bring her here, and she will escort you all to speak with the Gonn. I wish you well, Wild Knots, and I hope to speak to you in the future.
Thank you.
We will certainly at some point, because we will have another discussion, not too terribly long from now, with which we must sit down and debate. But I will find out your personal leanings on that during that time. In the meantime, fair travels, she says.
Give a little bow.
Yeah, Fa would give a little bow. Kemo would bow deeply.
Kemo prostrates himself, like, forehead onto...
As she finishes her conversation, she waves a hand forward, flecking out her green sparkled fingernails out, and the two, which you assume now, muses at her sides begin to head down the steps to get Ilanalu for you. And that is where we will end this session.
Hell yeah.
Wow, it's already midnight.
I know, time flew by.
when you're having fun.
Okay, quick.
Well, did you guys have fun? A big RP episode?
Yes.
That was great, yeah.
Pretty good.
Aesop is... Oh, go ahead.
I got to play 3 characters.
He did.
It's a new record.
Aesop is pretty convinced that the observatory ladies is a bunch of mumbo jumbo snake oil, but she seemed nice enough, so he probably left there thinking, wait a second, she just did that thing where she tells us something really vague and then we fill in the gaps for her.
You will probably make some money at some point in the future.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It seems like something will happen later.
Does his name start with a J, a J? Barry. Yeah, Barry.
Right, but I said B.
Yes, that's what I said.
Wonderful.
Yeah, good sesh. Sorry it was late.
No, hey, no problem. I'm glad you at least made it, and you were earlier than expected, so that's good.
Yay.
Is everyone gonna be here for next week? Anybody missing next week?
I will be here in some capacity.
Okay.
I'm available.
Pretty sure I'm here on the 27th.
So we will be missing... I think we'll be missing Bae. Maybe not, though. I think she should be back by then. And so we'll only maybe have like a spotty Luke, and that should be it. So we're good for next session. I just want to keep checking in because I know it's like holiday time, so I know you guys have some plans coming up, so I just want to keep reminding myself. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us, those of you who stuck around. That was really nice of you guys. VIP Looney, as always, you're the man. Thank you for hanging out. If you built any extra, if you're listening to this, Looney, if you built up any extra loyalty points on the Streamlabs system, you may want to use those next session because that's the last time we're going to have that. So I know you spent something for a big reward that I told Slim about, and he is currently in the process of working on. But if you have any leftover stuff that you've accrued from hanging out with us, make sure to spend that next session, at least the Streamlab points, because we're going to be moving over to the Twitch channel points. But yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. Thank you, Alfred. Thank you, another TV viewer, Atin, Community Showcase. I mean, I'll take it. Thank you, Community Showcase. Thanks, GZA, Nastia or Nasty A. Thank you, T-Bird, VNK, Virgo, Praz, Windsock. I appreciate you all stopping by. If you missed any of this session, if you came in late or just wondering what this campaign and show is all about, you can view all of our VOD here on Twitch or over on our YouTube page. And as I mentioned, as you guys are watching you build up points, instead of the loyalty points through Streamlabs, go ahead and use those if you have. But I would start you guys focusing more on the Twitch channel points. You can find all the cool stuff that you can buy in the lower left of the chat. So it's real easy to access. It's built into Twitch. That's why I want to move over to it. It's less fuss. And so check that out. You can buy cool little avatars that you see at the bottom of the screen here in the Godly Tavern. You can buy inspiration for the party. You can buy them weird bits, all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm going to be updating those rewards on our page in the panels below on our Twitch page. But you can still see some of the general stuff you can buy there. Or again, check out the bottom of the chat. But thank you very much. Go check out our YouTube page. You can just punch in Wyrd and Wyld or GAWD_mode. Go follow our Twitter if you want to check in on updates and just funny D&D memes. And like I said, next week will be the last week of December. I'm going to be doing a probably extremely easy giveaway just because it's Christmas time, so check that out. No one's really even participated in the past, so no one's gotten a prize, so you could be it. Looney, I mean, shit, you may as well just join in, get yourself a cool Steam card or something. So yeah, check that out. And yeah, we'll be back after Christmas, so I hope everybody has a great holiday week. And once the festivities are over, in between Christmas and New Year's, you can come chill out with us Friday for some D&D to tide you over until New Year's Eve. So thanks everybody for stopping by to watch. Instead of just cutting everything off, we're actually going to end by going to Raid League of Explorers because he's always really cool. Thank you, League, for the bits and the subs. It's always really nice of you. I try to I try to let you know when I see you do it, but sometimes I'm in the middle of RPing, and so I don't want to ruin that. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. I'm punching it in now, so in about 5 seconds, we're going to go raid them. So thanks. Have a great holiday week, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.